The first half of the season is over for Saturday Night Thunder. Fresh off the All-Star break, championship leader Chase Schaefer and over 29 other competitors have brought themselves back to Michigan for one of our season staples. The fast 2-mile track has seen many champions win at this venue before, including the 3 former title winners who are participating in this race. It's time now to figure out who's got the stuff to qualify for the championship running and the playoffs to end this season. This is how we set off the second half. Welcome back to Brooklyn, Michigan, and the Brooklyn, Michigan International Speedway. Well known in Motor City as one of the fastest in the United States, it's time for Saturday Night Thunder to continue with its 6th race of the 2026 A season. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting. I'll be your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. Qualifying is on the move right now, and at the top of the board is Braden Hunsicker. He is among a field of 31 drivers. Let's take a look downstairs and see who's at the top of the chart. Hunsicker with the fastest time, a 39.167 second lap over Jeremy Miller and James Thurston as they run in the opening section. 13 drivers have taken a time so far. About halfway into the session, about half of drivers have gone for at least one lap. Richard Cherry making his return, just jumped up to second. Cherry was the champion of last summer's off-season title hunt where we used the Arkham Menards cars, and he's come back now. He's been part-time ever since, but he puts down a great lap. He is a 10th off the pole position, and it looks like that's where he will stand. Rowan Koch in the number 30 goes 18th with motor failure. Looks like his qualifying run comes to an end early. All eyes now on the number 99 of Jordan Kuntz and the number 41 of Chase Schaefer, who are just about at the same place in the racetrack at the same time. 2 of your top title contenders. Kuntz 7th to the championship standings after winning the season opener. And of course, Chase Schaefer, the championship leader. And it looks like they're both coming across the start-finish line right now. Jordan Kuntz, he'll put down his first lap. That'll take him up to second on the board. And Chase Schaefer, coming across the line, is now going for one more. Kuntz dropped a 39.285 to enter the front row. One of the best laps of all drivers so far today. Now Chase with the goal of matching it or beating it. Chase making his way through, hoping that this is going to be the lap that sets him up with another pole position. He finds himself with 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s so far this season, and even though he leads the championship, he has not yet won a race. His last race win going back to 2025 in Charlotte. At the line there for Schaefer. No dice. He'll go for it again with 35 seconds left on the clock. Barely enough time to finish. Cole Wilson now on the way. You'll see him rounding the final set of corners here. And it looks like he will have just enough to make it to the line. He and Matthew Weeks in a similar position. Wilson at the line. He'll take it through and he'll go up to 4th with a blazing hot lap. That will not be enough, though, for Matthew Weeks. He'll wreck out of turn 4, and his qualifying run comes to a close. Schaefer will put down the final lap. 5 seconds and time ticking. He'll just beat the buzzer, and for Chase Schaefer, that time not going to be good enough. It won't be a validated lap, and so he'll start at the back of the field. Qualifying as concluded, and it will be Braden Hunsicker who grabs the pole position, his first here at Michigan, and he comes into this race 3rd in points. That is a big run for the man in the 00. For Braden, he is 41 points off the championship lead heading into tonight. Not particularly far from the championship. Most of that gap is between he and Chase Schaefer. Schaefer holding a 27-point lead over the rest of the field as we enter tonight's racing. So for Braden, who is now coming into his 2nd full year of SNT competition, He definitely has a lot to prove with this year, going up against some of the tough talent that also enter the league in 2025, including, but not limited to, Cameron Chandler and Jack Drucker, who are top 5 in points, and also Cole Wilson, who is the runner-up in the point standings as it runs. Wilson, Hunsicker, Chandler, all stunning in 2025 as rookies, and now they find themselves firm title contenders. Jordan Kuntz taking second in qualifying, and Richard Sherry in a return race on the podium. Sherry, third. Cole Wilson, as we mentioned, is fourth, and that's just a small sample of the 31 drivers who are set to run tonight. So before we go racing, let's get to knowing who's who and who is where. Got a lot of drivers who have been familiar all season long, some making their first starts of the campaign. All the while, they're all looking for victory, and the title race looms above every driver's head. Right now, Braden Hunsicker is looking for a statement race and a chance to capture the championship lead. He'll grab his first pole position at Michigan with a 39.167 second lap. His two-time former champ Jordan Kuntz lines up second, 39.285 for him. Richard Sherry goes third as Cole Wilson goes P4, and it's the number 14 of Jeremy Miller who wraps up the top 5. Next up is James Thurston. Thurston in the 96 goes 6th, with Matthew White 7th, Henry Kaloff 8th, Vinny Tigner in 9th, and Ethan Burrell in 37, concluding the top 10. Watch out for Vinny Tigner, one of the best at these 2-mile racetracks. It's going to be then Jack Drucker in the 56 who goes 11th. And also with him, first-time competitor, a rookie, the 27 of Zach Carr. His first start coming tonight, qualifying well in 12th. Jamie Lockwood starts 13th, and it'll be the number 13 of Brandon Monroe, 14th place. Cameron Chandler is 15th. Greg Hole, 16th with Kenneth Gorell. Then 16th position, and 17th is Kenneth. Brandon Combs is 18th. Matthew Rivera is 19th, and to round out the top 20 is CJ Erdman. With your final drivers going as follows: you have Kurt Gibson at 21st. You'll have Ron Koch in 12th. Well, that's going to be the 12th row behind him. He goes 22nd. Chase Schaefer is the first driver without a time in 23rd. Matthew Weeks, great at this track, starts 24th with Jacob Clarino, Jamie McKinney, Asher Bunkley, Michael Deitch, Chris Tripp, Tyler Seaver, all wrapping up the top 30. And your final driver in the field in 31st is the number 40 of Roger Seaver. It is a lineup, and it is one worth watching. At the front of it all will be the number, well, who else but the number 00, Braden Hunsicker. He'll take it to the top of the board tonight, head-to-head with the 99 of Jordan Kuntz. We are now just about a minute away from seeing the green flag, and everyone ordered together for a 200-mile, 100-lap night of racing. Track conditions from the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway go as follows. Ambient temperatures coming in at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And the track temperature is currently 106 degrees. Rather warm air temperature, but it really kicks in hard when you consider that track temp. It will burn tires up tonight, and when drivers are going speeds over 190 miles an hour, they are going to feel it from beginning to end. We're looking at what could be a one-stop strategy if everyone stays green, but the safe call is most likely going to be a two-stopper. Don't know how it's going to be split, but that is the likeliest outcome. Sunny skies and clear skies at that, with winds mild and southeast bound. Practice has concluded, qualifying is over, and that only leaves us with one more moment left. And that, of course, is the green flag and the start of another race feature. Number 6 on the season, and by far one of our fastest of the year. 100 laps heading your way live on FTN with your leading driver, Braden Hunsicker, taking the charge and bringing the field to green in just a few minutes. Drivers are settled in now. Most of them already on the starting grid. They leave from pit road. 100 laps, 200 miles on the agenda for today's race. Pit road going to be considered very early on, probably as early as lap 40 here. Halfway marker at 50. Yellow flags will be the only thing that really throw a wrench in the equation here. Jordan Kuntz eyeing what could be a second victory on the season. It would be big for him. So far, going down to Jordan Kuntz, it's a 71-point gap for your top 7, 75-point gap for your top 8 drivers. That goes back to 9th place in Vinny Tigner. Tigner's not on the track right now, but Jordan Kuntz is, so we'll keep an eye on him and the rest of this pack up here. It's still very close between the top 10, even going back to 10th place, Henry Kaloff. The gap is only 82 between he and a championship lead, but that is double the gap between championship leader Chase Schaefer and 3rd place, Braden Hunsicker. So keep that in mind here. Chase Schaefer has a dominant championship advantage, although it's very likely some of it is going to be chipped away at today as he starts in the back of the field. Taking a look at Chase all the way behind here, and he is mired in the back of the field. He's got a lot of rows to clear if he wants a chance to win today, but he does as well have a lot of time. The iRacing official pace car is set to get going now in less than a minute. It will grab a gear, will go around for one pace lap, and it will be race time once again. Second half of the season starts today. From here on out, we have a race at the Legacy Atlanta circuit. That'll be 134 laps of old intermediate racing. Next after that, North Wilkesboro for 150 circuits. Charlotte and Old Texas. It will be intermediates to end the season with 3 of your last 5 races coming at the mile and a halves, and your championship finale coming there as well. Besides today, the only non-intermediate race left on the schedule will be North Wilkesboro Speedway. One last short track. So it's going to be all about being great at the big ovals, and Michigan sort of adds to that. It's not an intermediate, but it drives quick, and it's a lot of open throttle time. So it's simple enough to be quick, but now it's about working strategy into the mix. Hoping to see those long green flag runs we become accustomed to. Tonight, a racetrack that has a lot of length and a lot of width. You can describe Michigan in both those ways. Expect to see 3 wide early. Maybe, just maybe, expect to see even 4 or 5 wide as the night goes on. And it might just happen without issue either. A lot of these grooves are viable for racing, not just the bottom. Look out for guys using the middle and the top for slingshotting. Braden Hunsicker does the honors in bringing the field back up to speed. It's time now for the driver of the 00 to take it up a notch and kick off the second half. Green flags out as Jordan Kuntz goes side by side with the 00, but it's all Braden Hunsicker into the opening turns. Here we go again. Green flag from Michigan. SNT is back and charging toward the playoffs. Kuntz goes wide. We're still green. Cautions out. Green, not so long. Contact in the back, including Asher Bunkley in the 92. And it's a lap 1 caution. Let's see what happened. Taking it all the way back to the race start. Lap number 1. Yellow number 1. We'll slow it down again. Jay Schaefer taking it middle 3. And it began with Bunkley and company. Not a good angle there. We'll take it upstairs for a second look. Bunkley and Rowan Koch making big contact. Jordan Kuntz falling more than 20 spots back after a shaky start. And coming out of the corner, Bunkley wiggles high, gets up in a Rowan Koch, comes up and slams Jordan. Mind you, he started second and ends up in the worst of it. Michael Deitch in the four-leaf Federal Credit Union machine making it around. But Jordan Kuntz got the worst of it and was just a car length up on Deitch. This was a horrible start for Kuntz. Take a watch. It went from bad to worse to the worst possible outcome in just 30 seconds. Nudged, loose, and already having to work the car. Definitely going to be scuffing up the tires. And that would have been fine if he got away without damage. He didn't. Caution's out. That was fast. And for Kuntz, he's going to have to go in and already make some emergency service. Asher Bunkley and Rowan Koch down to the inside and on pit road as well. Braden Hunsicker leads the way. And up next in that leading fight, Cole Wilson, Richard Cherry, Jeremy Miller, all of which were going to benefit. Thanks, of course, for Jordan Kuntz having that trouble. Coming to 1 to green next time around. Jeremy Miller, the 14, making one of his first starts on the season. Miller has impressed so far. All eyes on him, maybe to go for a full-time run next season and perhaps go after his first win. We have had our fair share of winners so far this season, so let's not act as if it hasn't been possible for other drivers to make it happen. Right now, when we're looking at victories, we've got a total of 4 drivers over the course of 6 races who have gotten it done. Of course, this is the 6th race of the season, so it's been 4 out of 5 so far. James Thurston, the only multi-time winner with 2. Cole Wilson, Cameron Chandler, Jordan Kuntz, they've also won races. Chase Schaefer has not, even though he's the title leader. So we could have a first-time, 2-time season for Hunsicker and company. Thurston's the only driver with more than 1 win at the halfway mark. Set to go green. And it'll be led off by Cole Wilson, your first restart of the day at lap number 5. Biggest mover in the top 10, 12th up to 9th on debut is Zach Carr. Number 27 making his first appearance under the Call Deitch Racing banner, it appears. Zach, a new face. Well, it looks like that's not the case. He is an independent driver. Trying to get a better look at that logo here. Doesn't look like he's got any team sponsorship. So either way, Zach Carr, you take a look on there. He's with 906 Motorsports, not Call Deitch. Similar looking logo, but I don't know if he's got any teammates with him out there tonight. So, Deitch with 906 making their first start and hoping to make a fast impact in a first career drive. Let's see what he can do, and of course, what the leading men can do. Wilson and Hunsicker side by side. It'll be Braden Hunsicker in control as we get back to business. And the 00 gets away well for restart number 1. First complete lap under green, and it's going to be Braden Hunsicker up in control. Cole Wilson not too far behind. Richard Cherry now in third. Early side-by-side racing among contenders, and clearly right now, one driver standing at the head of the pack. Braden Hunsicker looking confident and with speed over the course of these first few. Let's see what happens now that a few other factors come into play. First of which is going to be, of course, racing side-by-side alongside drivers. That hasn't been the case for the first 5 laps. Most likely, we didn't see any big packs form for long periods in practice or final warm-up, which means right now, different drivers are going to have to deal with different lanes. Not everyone can get down to the bottom, and while it looks to be preferred, some drivers getting a little bit more comfortable up top and preparing themselves for what's to come. Henry Kaloff is on the high side now, or higher than most, but look who's really working the third groove. It's Zach Carr. Carr right now trying to take it 3 with Richard Cherry and Zach Drucker. Can't quite get it ahead there on Cherry. Richard will block the line again, but it's double file for many rows deep as they pass by the front straight grandstands. Taking a look on board now with Richard Cherry. And you'll see here some of our leading guys are using the middle rather than the bottom. Although now James Thurston is coming up with a head full of steam, and you can see clear as day he is rocketing into position. And here he comes. Interesting that he might be the best driver in terms of using the inside so far. Contact. 1, 2, 3. Thurston's going to knock himself down. Everyone gets away. That was a nudge from Braden Hunsicker into Henry Kaloff and James Thurston. Luckily, no problems. Everyone keeps it together. It's still 3 wide up in front with Jeremy Miller having to work down the back straightaway. Fighting a little bit harder now. He's got Hunsicker, Thurston, and the rookie, Zach Carr, all looking at him. Cole Wilson taking the lead on the outer groove. And again, the high side is proven very useful early on. Wilson to the point. Watch out for an underdog to steal the show today. Looking at Zach Carr, already up a total of 7 places. And he is looking for what could be a 1-for-1 rate of winning on his starts. James Thurston, interestingly enough, finding himself working the inside again. Getting it down and in on Jeremy Miller. He will block and take that spot for third, but look who dives way low. Chase Schaefer. Schaefer, who qualified in 23rd, is now up to 8th. And he's the biggest mover by a long shot. Second is Jamie McKinney, 26th up to 14th, but Thurston right now might have to watch out. His biggest rival, Schaefer, is coming up the ladder and fast. Braden Hunsicker gets the lead, but just barely again. It's going to be toe-to-toe. Lucas Thurston gets to the inside. James takes it to the bottom for the lead. Side by side now is Schaefer and Henry Kaloff. Both battles happening at the same time. One cools down first. Hunsicker gets the lead again. Watch 3 wide briefly as Vinny Tigner gets down to Thurston's inside. Well, that's going to be Chase Schaefer. He's up on next. 84 of Jamie McKinney. Right up against another Jamie Lockwood. It's going to be Jamie on Jamie at the head of the pack. Lockwood right now just a little bit ahead in the 51 as he's side by side with Vinny Tigner. Tigner now seeing one other driver way up to the high side, and that's not the comfort zone for Thurston. He's been relegated up to the top, falling back to 7th. Losing 3 spots in 1 lap. While Chase Schaefer is trying to break out. And in getting ahead of Cameron Chandler, he's really got a shot. Henry Kaloff now finding himself working down the back straight in 9th. as high as 4th so far today. The number 63, one of the best drivers on short runs in this league, not afraid to be aggressive and try to keep position or even take it, but long runs have not worked out in his favor. Generally speaking, we'll see what he can do today. Going to be again 3 wide. Chase Schaefer with another hard shot as he skates up to the high side. I think he completely misreads the entry. He's going to have to rely on that back straightaway to save him as he is toe-to-toe with Thurston now. Thurston boxes him in. And it's squirming all over from every driver in the front positions, all trying to maintain their spots. Just behind Brandon Combs, side by side again with Vinny Tigner. Tigner drops out of the top 10 and now runs 13th. Matthew White not too far back. Started 7th, but he's fallen back 10 places to go down to 17th. Been a quiet race for him so far. I think ideally now for Matthew White, he's just got to recenter and regroup himself for the next portion of the night. Clearly right now the short run not working in his favor, but he has speed. He qualified well. No need to outdo yourself when things aren't in your favor strategy-wise. A lot of time for things to go right. Jordan Kuntz from 2nd in qualifying all the way down to the back of the field is back in the top 10. First time he's been there since the beginning of this race, where of course in one lap he fell down more than 20 places. CJ Erdman he's side by side with now. Erdman up top. Braden Hunsicker leading by about 1/10 of a second, but it is every position up for grabs. Otherwise, the door to the top 10 is revolving. Chase Schaefer dropping from 7th to 11th in just one lap. And keep in mind, that's about 40-some seconds, a driver dropping 4 places. There is really no way to describe what's going on here in Michigan without saying that it is revolving. And that's an interesting way to put it, because not only are they swapping positions, but everyone's swapping lanes. Vinny Tigner now gets to the inside. James Thurston runs up top when 10 laps ago it was the exact opposite. Henry Kaloff back in the top 5 conversation in 8th and knocking on the door of 2. Jamie McKinney and Jeremy Miller. Zach Carr has been confident, still in 4th here. And he's one of the storylines to watch on the day. First-time competitor for Jeremy Miller. It's his first SNT race at this track. Schaefer wiggles loose, but he keeps it straight. So far, control has not been the biggest talk of the day. Looks like most drivers have been able to maintain at least somewhat solid control of their stuff, especially up on that high side there. Looks like it's very stable to the inside. Got one driver going, that's Ethan Burrell. Now, with so many great drivers at the head of the pack, it's really a wonder of who's going to be the best on the day. A lot of the drivers that we have named, called out so far in these first few laps are race winners, many of which multi-time race winners, a few of which are champions, and they're all deciding it amongst themselves at one of the fastest tracks on the schedule. This track doesn't necessarily lack technique, to say the least, as Braden Hunsicker leads the way and you see the clean air there, but the technique allows for almost every driver to be quick. And the interesting part about it is, well, everyone's quick. How can you determine who's the quickest? Very hard when the line between fast and fastest is thoroughly blurred. Here comes Cole Wilson now on Hunsicker. Gap is tightened up heavily, as even Richard Cherry is taking a look at the grasp of the race lead, and he might be able to get there. Drucker, Carr, Jeremy Miller, Henry Kaloff going down to 7th. as Cameron Chandler has Kaloff boxed up really, really high. I'll tell you that much. That is not a comfortable spot to be in. Every lane in use, exactly how it was all intended to be. Although we have a lot of 200-mile races on the schedule, as a matter of fact, 4 of our final 5 races will come out to that length. Rather interesting that Michigan used to be the place where NASCAR held its longest race on the season. It was prior to the World 600 Michigan that hosted the 600-mile feature. And even though those days are of a bygone era, you can understand why Michigan is excitement all the time by virtue of its speed. Drivers are going about 160 throughout the corners, but taking a look at the driver telemetry on Braden Hunsicker right now, he'll be able to get it up to close to 190 miles an hour as he enters turn 3. If you take a look at the bottom left of your screen, you'll see his speed through this final section. He'll start this straightaway at 167 miles an hour. He's gone up 10. He has gone up 20. He gets up to 195 miles an hour. Nearly a 30-mile-an-hour gain over the course of some 15 seconds and over the course of maybe 3/4 of a mile. This track is fast, and not only is it fast, but it can rip away a good run in a moment's notice. But right now, drivers appear to be calming down for the most part, although Matthew Weeks will go for a 3-wide maneuver on one of his former championship rivals in Jordan Kuntz, and the 13 of Brandon Monroe won't be able to get it there. Take a brief ride on board with Weeks as he keeps on fighting for what is the 14th and 13th position. This is the battle at the bottom of the top 15. On the edge of turn 2, can't quite get it there, was Matthew Weeks. Not too far behind him is Kenneth Gorell with the Refined Engineering Consulting number 57, and a great announcement for Saturday Night Thunder, a title sponsor or a premier sponsor to say the least for SNT for the first time in its history. Don't expect anything to change at SNT, except we know now that thanks to the great support of Refined Engineering and Consulting, there's financial backing and support for the years to come for this incredible league. Refined Engineering and Consulting does not simply sell you a setup. We ensure at REC that the setup is tailored to your exact needs with coaching, testing, and spotting services. At REC, you just have to drive the car. They have a website, justdriveacar.com or justdrivecar.com, which will give you a link to their Discord. It's that simple. Sign up with Refined Engineering and Consulting today at justdrivecar.com. And major thank yous again to Kenneth Gorell and the entire REC team for coming aboard and providing their support. As you can see, driving in the 57E today, Kenneth Gorell, a brand new look for him, a sponsor for the rest of the season, not only for his team, but for Saturday Night Thunder as well. He rides right now in 16th and is on the cusp of the leading fight. Half a second back is Braden Hunsicker, now seeing Cole Wilson in that rearview mirror. Hunsicker's trying to do something that's pretty hard to do at a track like this. Not impossible, but we'll talk about it anyway, breaking the draft. As you can see right now, he is slowly but surely starting to establish his own room on track with a little bit of a slide attitude, but that won't cost him all too much. Drafting does matter at Michigan, even though it's not a super speedway. Well, let's talk about that anyway. 2-mile racetrack, speed gains of over 25 miles an hour down the straightaways. Even though the corners are basically up to a driver, trying to get that line right, get the precise input, get it into the right groove, throttle and brake mesh-ups. Speed is still going to come from being right behind the driver, and getting the slipstream means an awful lot, especially out of the back straightaway. As you'll see right now, Cameron Chandler side by side, and he's keeping Zach Carr in a box, but staying right behind that big train is going to help Carr get a position. The slipstream is going to help drivers get out of jams, and it's going to help them set up more aggressive moves. You got to be alongside drivers if you want to make your way and be faster at this track. So how then can a driver get out in front and break the draft? The answer is pretty simple: clean air. Clean air is a huge, huge deal. The biggest thing about clean air, of course, is the fact that you don't have to wear out your tires as much. And even though you're pushing a little bit harder fuel-wise, you have the resources to get yourself to break away. That is exactly how now the 00 Braden Hunsicker has gotten on his way and has gotten far further from Cole Wilson and Richard Cherry alike, who are trailing each other, and they've got the draft. Richard Cherry looking now with Jack Drucker in his rearview mirror. Qualified 11th is up to 4th, so while Drucker did not start poorly, he's definitely outperforming where he began his night. And that, for the 56, is great to see. Drucker has been a championship contender, calm and composed, but not quiet. The only thing he's missing right now in terms of this season is a victory. 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, and while the numbers might not be stacked up in his favor, analytically, he's only 53 points behind, which goes to show that his off races have actually been better than everyone else's. He is tied in points right now with Cameron Chandler, who happens to have 4 top 10s and 2 top 5s. So, at this point anyway, Jack Drucker has been one of the most consistent drivers. Even though he might not be the best on his best nights just yet, he definitely has been one of the strongest to do it throughout the season, just by making the most of the least. Richard Cherry is going to be able to get by there on Cole Wilson, get up to 2nd. 31 laps in out of 100, we are approaching slowly but surely what's next to come, the second half. Interesting to note that so far this season, Chase Schaefer has 4 of 5 halfway stage wins, and he looks to be very far now, way back in 21st. Perhaps the biggest thing that's gotten him up to the championship lead is the fact that he is led at the 50% mark 4 times so far. The only other driver to do it is Matthew White, who's in 5th right now. Maybe he could do it again, but it's the halfway point that has been critical to his championship drive, and maybe if anyone else is due to replicate him and gain some big points on the title, comes down to just being the best at that moment. Fight for 3rd, not going to be much a battle, but the fight for 5th is clearly heating up. You've got Cole Wilson, Matthew White, and Ethan Burrell 3 wide. Burrell gets to the inside. Matthew White is going to try to close him off. He will. But now it's going to be Cole Wilson with the run off the corner. Blocked. Not going to work out. Cole Wilson puts a bumper to Matthew White. And so now they're going to train each other down into turn 3. Big drive into 3. As the 37 of Ethan Burrell gets down to the way inside again. Take a ride on board now with Zach Carr, the rookie, who's fighting to keep himself in the top 5. Zach lies back in turn 3. Lets Cole Wilson get everything out of the corner, and now is going to try to use that slipstream to make a move. Gets closer, but won't be enough to take it on Cole Wilson, but he will get by Ethan Burrell. That's good for 6th. Wilson now has the pressure of that 27 to deal with. And there's no way to defend as soon as he gets down to the bottom. An immediate drop right down low makes it side by side as Carr crosses up big Let's see now what Cole Wilson can do with that. Matthew Weeks in the conversation as well. 24th place starter is the biggest mover of the day. Matthew is now the highest spot he's running all day long. And it's been a struggling first half for him. But now when it matters most and we head toward the pit road run, he can gain some big positions and maybe has a chance to get by Burrell and by Zach Carr all at once. Couldn't get it there that time by. James Thurston now finds himself to the inside as he drops 2 positions. Cameron Chandler surges past with Zach Carr's draft. And the draft keeps the revolving door wide open. Still a very, very exciting story, mainly told by drivers working with each other and going up and down the ladder. Matthew Weeks wiggles up, down. He'll keep himself together, but that could have been a little bit more dicey than it even was. How about this? Got a lapper involved, it appears, or a driver with a mislabeled name. That's interesting. That is Brandon Monroe in the 13, but now one to the inside is the 19 of Rivera. That's Matthew Rivera. He is a lapper and just got caught up in the mix with the lead guys. Matthew Rivera here, one of the few who was 1 lap down. I think that's because he went down to pit road early. So taking a look at the numbers right now on Matthew Rivera, let's figure out when exactly he went down to pit road. 3 laps ago. Jordan Kuntz did the same. So we are starting to see drivers go down to pit road. That window is open, and we'll keep a better watch on it as the night goes on. But right now, most drivers have not gone in. Expect that to happen from lap 40 to lap 50 over the course of this run. "39 laps in, Jackson Rivera now trying to get his lap back against Braden Hunsicker. Top 4 are broken away for the better part. Then you go back to 5th place Ethan Burrell, and it is a race between the rest and the best of the rest. There's the 57, Kenneth Gorell, now finding himself on the inside with faster rubber. And he'll get through all drivers, and another one went down early and is now starting to work it back. Cameron Chandler shooting up high. You can see now the struggle for these guys who are on that older equipment. Gotta wonder what happens next now as drivers head toward their final moments on this run. Are we going to see drivers trying to go the entire way to lap number 50? Or are we going to see drivers cutting a little bit early? They got 2 choices. They could go in and make it a 2-stopper, the safer run, or they go out all the way and make it a half and a half drive. Still, many in the field have yet to decide what they want to do, so we'll keep on watching as Braden Hunsicker leads Jack Drucker and company. Drucker now up to 2nd, although some big names are heading in and the 2-stopper looks to be increasingly popular. That car went in 2 laps ago, as did Vinny Tigner, and that looks to be the winning call tonight, the 2-stop strategy. Tigner just went in as well, so you gotta watch out who's next to do it. So far in the top 10, nobody else, but that's going to move Thurston up to 8th, Kaloff back up to 9th, and Jamie McKinney is now the last man in the top 10. Vinny Tigner dropping low on these guys on the lead lap here. Just trying to get by, making up his spots, and very soon he'll be all the way at the head of the pack. The pit stop cycle as they run. Well, let's see who's the leader of it all. As one driver heads down, that's going to be leader Braden Hunsicker. Currently, it'll be Jordan Kuntz leading those on new tire. He went in 8 laps ago, earlier than just about everyone else. Dropping in fast is the 00 of Braden Hunsicker. Braden is in, and as he makes it into his stall, that's going to leave Jack Drucker as your race leader. Richard Cherry now trying to take that spot from him. Let's see, Drucker now slowing down. It looks like it is time for the 56th to make it to pit road. Drucker's in. Richard Cherry to take the race lead as Jack goes down to pit road. And most runs on this lead lap are going to end before the 50 lap mark, it appears. Half a second back is Matthew White. Maybe he's looking out for those halfway stage points here, but I'd be highly doubtful. Up at the top side is the number 88, Richard Cherry, another leader to drop out. At lap 45, he'll head down to pit road just about 10 miles before that halfway. Henry Kaloff also takes Chase Schaefer in. Schaefer coming into the 8th place, just behind on the 63. Matthew White and Matthew Weeks side by side for the lead here. Weeks takes it over White. And it's a race between Matthews at the head of the pack. Let's see who decides to last a little bit longer here. That all comes down to when they try to go down a pit road. Weeks, for the first time all day, is your race leader. Matthew White slips to 2nd. This will put Cameron Chandler 3rd, Ethan Burrell 4th, and James Thurston now P5 to pit road. As Thurston comes in, he'll be followed shortly thereafter by one of these leading guys, and it looks like it's going to be Matthew Weeks this time by heading in, as does Cameron Chandler and Matthew White. 1, 2, 3. So a majority of the field now has gone in, and at lap number 47, that's going to leave Ethan Burrell as one of the last up in front who has not gone. It's Burrell, Roger there, and Tyler. Keep in mind that Roger and Tyler decided to go down a pit road under the first caution, so the results are a little bit skewed at the head of the field now, given that they did go in early. Jordan Kuntz is working between the both of them right now. Tyler just got passed by Jordan. And Ethan Burrell, after 47 laps, will drop in. It looks like going half and half is not the call tonight for any driver. And coming across the line this time by your race leader will be Roger Sevier. Oh no, he'll choose to go down a pit road after 43 laps. So he'll go for his 2nd stop. And instead, Jordan Kuntz crossed the line. He'll be your race leader in the number 99. Jordan takes it to the top of the board. And now he leads with 14-lap-old tires. Next is Zach Carr on a 10-lap-old set, who has cut most of the gap and looks poised perhaps to take the race lead. Here comes one of the best. That, of course, is Zach Carr. He's been strong today and is making a huge, huge impact and drivers have to take notice. He's got an opportunity now to maybe even go out there for his first career win. We talked about the possibility in the first opening laps of the race, but by that point, we still had a big pack of about 15 strong going at each other. Right now, things have thinned up. The field is really settled in, and it's going to be head-to-head between Carr and Kuntz at the halfway marker. One more lap to collect those halfway stage points. Jordan Kuntz just has to go 2 extra miles. He'll lead to start lap 50. Will he lead to end it? Now let's see the difference. Zach is definitely faster through those corners. I mean, there is no denying it. There's no doubt about it. And as long as he gets through the corners solidly, doesn't even have to push it, then he's going to make his way through and take the race lead. But not able to get it this time by. Looks like a little shakier through 3 and 4. And at the line, Jordan Kuntz will collect halfway stage points and win his first stage of the season. Big run for the driver in the 99 as he will take his first stage win. 50 laps in, now with 50 laps to go, Zach Carr decides it's game time. Side by side. Zach Carr for the lead. For the first time in his career, he will take it. And who else to get it from than the 2-time former champ? Big move for Jordan Kuntz to step aside. He just can't do it any longer. Tires are giving in. Zach Carr, your race leader. And coming up on the both of them now would be Jeremy Miller. 3 seconds back is Braden Hunsicker with much younger tire, but a lot more time to claw in. We'll see what he can do as the night goes on. .49 laps to go. And Zach Carr holds down the fort. The top 10 split by 10 seconds. Its last driver is currently Matthew Rivera. This green flag run is absolutely changing the flow of this race. And it's doing so by just letting these drivers ride it out. Time continues to pass. No complications in terms of yellow flags or big incidents. And the best drivers will prevail at the head of the field when it's all said and done. A little bit of a skate up high. Chase Schaefer, loose, gets it together, but he's getting pressured now for the 11th place. This is the battle just outside of the top 10. Schaefer trying to get outside of it. Gets past Matthew Rivera. Rivera is just a little bit more extra defense and just enough to protect him from falling out of relevance. One car length is the trick. So now the Monster Designs machine moves into a firm 10th place. We got 3 Matthews, all with each other. Matthew Weeks, Matthew White, and Matthew Rivera. Although it looks like now Rivera is just so slightly skating out of line. For a brief moment there, they were running position, all with each other. And that moment has ended, and Matthew Rivera is definitely falling back. But the other 2 Matthews are still right at each other. White and Weeks now putting their attention toward passing Chase Schaefer. Schaefer struggling perhaps a little bit more than usual to stay in the top 10. Doesn't help now that the lead battle is basically off limits for him. Zach Carr has the lead by a half second over Jeremy Miller. Faster than them all. He's cut down half the gap. Braden Hunsicker now a second and a half back on the top places. That time around, Braden ran a 40.95 6-second lap, which was 0.3 of a second faster than leader Zach Carr. He's got pace to be there within 10 to 15 laps. And that includes and accounts for all the lappers he's going to have to pass on the way up there. For Braden Hunsicker, he has one thing that Zach Carr does not: dirty air. It's gonna end up not benefiting him in the least. As a matter of fact, of course, that's a huge problem. How is he going to get around these other drivers and keep on pushing hard? That's the question. You don't want to burn up your tire and make a big mistake by wasting your equipment against lappers versus leaders. Into 1 and 2 again. Single file for the most part. Roger Seaver, one of the lapper guys, who should be quick to move out. No big changes now, but it is going to be a 4-car race now that the 40's out of the way. Up next, Hunsicker, Kuntz, Miller, and then Zach Carr. Carr's coming up on a lap driver as well, and that would be Tyler Seaver, then Ron Koch. Let's see now the 27 handles it. This is lead racing situations and pressure that the 27 has never yet felt in SNT, of course. This is his very first start. Cole Wilson, 4th down to 7th. Down 3 places on the day. Currently just behind him is another lapper, not Matthew Weeks. That instead is Michael Deitch. We got 22 on the lead lap going back to Brandon Combs. And it looks like that might change pretty soon here. But either way, a good majority of the field is still on lead lap. Of the 31 drivers who started this race, 27 of them are still racing. So a majority of the pack has gotten through. 2 drivers did not start, Jacob Clarino and Chris Tripp, but Greg Holes and CJ Erdman pulled it in early, although neither of them were involved in the opening incident of the race. So that's interesting, just bowing out early, perhaps due to strategic things not going their way early on. Otherwise, everyone's kept it going, and we have not seen problems. Braden Hunsicker getting by Jordan Kuntz. That's for 3rd. Now it's going to be a gap of about a second between Hunsicker and leader Zach Carr, but the first driver he'll have to get through is the 14 of Jeremy Miller. Miller wants a shot at that race lead as well. Let's see how quickly Hunsicker can close that gap. Braden using basically the same line as Miller throughout 3 and 4. Nothing big change between them. That time by for Jeremy Miller, he ran a 41.38. That was a 41.261 for Hunsicker. Surprisingly enough, between these 2 drivers, of course, they've never yet had a matchup. Hunsicker's been at the front of the board all season long, and Jeremy Miller, in every race we've seen him, has been a striking competitor. But it looks like right now they're getting their first chance, and not only that, it's the other wild card of who is Zach Carr in a moment like this. Nobody quite knows that. Coming out of turns 1 and 2, we'll see if things change, but the gap is now as tight as it's been, 15 hundredths of a second. Car length after car length, Miller has cut the gap. Interestingly enough, he actually has slightly older tire than Zach Carr. So I'm wondering how exactly he was able to do this. Maybe Zach pushing a little bit harder just to extend the lead, and now it's coming back to bite him. One more pit stop is expected for these guys within the next 20 laps. Don't exactly know when it will be, but we do know these drivers cannot go the distance the way things are. So Zach Carr, even if he makes a little bit of a mistake here and isn't able to get himself around as the leader to pit road, he definitely can come back from it. Jack Drucker running in fourth is now only a second behind. He still has Jacob Kuntz, of course, right there. Now, Kuntz has been able to keep himself in the fight despite the fact he's got much older rubber. He'll have to wait for one more pit stop cycle to really get up into it. Zach Carr up 12 places, still leads with 36 laps to go. Pit window set to open within the next 10. So in about 6 or so laps time, we're going to see drivers diving in for the final chance they have to get themselves a fresh set of rubber. 4 tires and fuel, most likely going to be the recipe. Don't be surprised if some drivers decide to take 2, although it's a risky call. I can only imagine someone here is going to have the guts to make it. And if they do it, hey, it might actually be able to help the driver in making some spots up. Let's take a little bit further look. Back of the field, Cole Wilson side by side with Matthew White. White able to make the pass, and that's going to get him up a spot. Matthew White up into 8th off that move. James Thurston is with Jamie McKinney on what has been an uncharacteristically non-dominant night for the 96 Nord. Chase Schaefer, as they're running up alongside some KDR guys. You got Michael Deitch, you got Henry Kaloff. Both of them trying to get through. Kaloff on the lead lap. Michael Deitch being one down. Just now, both of them able to get by. They're outside the top 10 and admittedly by a pretty comfortable margin, as Cameron Chandler has been able to hold his own, and he's more than a second up on the both of them. No competition for him directly right now. As long as he holds a pretty steering wheel, he should be able to get away with the top 10 finish tonight. A little bit further back, Kenneth Gurrell watching as Brandon Monroe battles Vinny Tigner. Tigner's a lapper here who went down to pit road a little bit early for the final time and is now trying to make things up with one final drive. Zach Carr has been able to hold Miller at bay, but I think most of it has come from Miller holding Braden Hunsicker at bay. The pair are now battling for second place, and in the meanwhile, it's been Carr getting further and further out in front. Miller is still in second, mind you, and while he's got older rubber, he has been able to hold down the fort. It's a rare moment that Miller is holding on against Hunsicker. Braden has a big chance to take the championship lead today if he takes advantage of this race, though. If he was to win, he would all but effectively take that spot. But it looks like tonight it's going to be between he and Cole Wilson for some critical points in the championship. They came in 14 points apart. Now, Hunsicker is probably going to get that gap down to the single digits the way things are looking, but he's really going to need to get by Miller, because if not, take a look who's now right behind, and it's a hard-charging, Zach Drucker. And we are at a loss for words. If you take a look inside the cockpit, Hunsicker is wheeling it, and he just got real loose out of 3 and 4. How's he going to manage in a 1 and 2 here? Trying to get low, back in control, but I think he's got an understeer problem. You see there, he's not able to get a drive at all off of turn 2. Barely gets away ahead of Jack Drucker, and again, the two fall back. That's only going to help Miller That's only going to help Zach Carr. Carr now at 30 laps to go is staring down what looked to be an impossible reality of him winning his first career race, and small moments like that help out much more than you'd even imagine. Carr now goes down a pit road, controlling his destiny, leading into his final pit stop of the night, and he'll take with him Jeremy Miller as Braden Hunsicker now leads this race overall. 30 laps to go, and it looks like for Carr, he goes down at what he deemed his perfect time. Again, any driver can come in at any time for their last pit stop to get them over the hill to the end of this race. However, now, the sooner, the better. Yellow flag's out. Caution for the second time today. The call on the field comes as Carr goes to pit road. He basically gets a free yellow. Why did the caution come out? Here's a look. Yellow flag flies, and as it does, it looks like it happened just before that pit stop cycle got wild. Thurston and Schaefer were in the biggest bundle right before that moment. And we're now trying to take a look upstairs to see where that incident possibly happened. And at the time of the yellow, most drivers were big time separated. Oh, we see it. It's down the back straight. And it looks like one driver falling out of control caused the yellow flag. Was it Rowan Koch? Got a feeling that there's some problems for the Koch car. Second caution at 29 to go. Take a look. This might be why. Koch, the inside of the track. And as that happened, trying to see if there was a signal given on the circuit. The yellow flag fell shortly thereafter. So the caution is out. Looks like a safety yellow on the field. And we are pacing once again as a majority of the field now heads in. Of course, keep in mind, Zach Carr already got his pit stop. Everyone else is playing fast catch-up. Race off pit road is going to be big. It's everyone catching up to Carr. Winning off pit road. Hunsicker over Jack Drucker. Just barely. Then Richard Sherry, Matthew White, Matthew Weeks, and the 84 of McKinney. That's how they come out of pit road to line up your top 10. Interestingly, it looks like Jordan Kuntz will be the leader of all. Kuntz last went down to pit road 4 laps ago, just before Carr, just before Miller and Wilson, and most importantly, just before the caution. Having spent close to 75 laps out of leading contention, Jordan Kuntz is back up front. Low of 27th, briefly first during the pit stop cycle, started in second, and is now in the top 5. Not an easy day. But at long last, Jordan Kuntz has shot to make it happen. 1 to green. Jordan is your control car as everyone has gone down to pit road. It'll be 26 laps remaining when we go green. Biggest mover in the top 10, Jamie McKinney, 26th to 10th, surrounded by 24th place qualifier Matthew Weeks and 23rd place qualifier Chase Schaefer. Jordan Kuntz eyeing what could be his second win of the season. Zach Carr putting up a tremendous run so far on debut. He's looking forward to what could be a first-time victory of epic proportions. The job is far from finished for this man, as he is ready to go toe-to-toe alongside the 99. Green flag's out again. It's Kuntz. It's his control. And with 26 laps to go, we're back on our way for our second restart of the night. Yellow's out. Quickly, yellow flag immediately thrown. And it's back-to-back yellows for the first time today. Now, why did that happen? We're about to find out. And it looks like Ethan Burrell involved in an incident fast, and the yellow flag flies. Just slight contact from Brandon Monroe. He got loose. I don't think anyone touched him. At least after. That was very close. But we're going to replay again. Take a look from the backside. Oh, Jamie Lockwood does finish Burrell off. But that could have been much, much worse contact from all sides. From the onboard of Lockwood. Just a nudge and a side swipe. Lockwood is lucky to continue, and I think honestly Ethan Burrell is. Because 9 times out of 10, that scenario would have been a disaster. Burrell is down and in. And the majority of the field remains up front. Zach Carr going to drop big on that restart. And in the clutch, he feels the heat going down a 5th. Jordan Kuntz takes the top spot, makes it his. Jeremy Miller up to 2nd. Cole Wilson takes P4. Still in the top 10 here, having a great day is Richard Sherry, who has proven his qualifying effort was far from a fluke, as he's having one of his best career races in the Grand National Series. Poised perhaps to go after a podium, and maybe even make a sneak run at the win. Looking now at the final moments, 1 to green will go at it with 22 laps remaining. As we go green this time by, we are set to crank it up with our friends at Whiplash Sim Cams. Cranking it up is what it's all about. the action, the excitement, the feeling, the sights, and the hearing of stock car racing at the highest level. And with Whiplash SimCams, you can bring that experience to the virtual world. Excitingly enough, thanks to their Discord server, you can actually try out some of their packages for free and figure out whether or not you like what they give out. And if you do, packages for any track in any car in iRacing are as little as $5 per pack, with updates year-round and new content added in every month. Thank you to the guys at Pit Stop TV for helping support us here at FTN Broadcasting. This time around, we are going to crank it up, brought to you by our friends at Whiplash, and watch and see now if Jordan Kuntz can keep the lead, if we stay green at all, or if it's another driver taking the helm in the final moments. "22 laps to go. And it all starts now. Green flags out again for Michigan for restart number 3. It's about time as we crank it up. It's the final stretch, and Kuntz is looking to win it. That's the biggest wreck of the day by far, by a wide margin. Yellow's out. We'll put a pause to our crank it up. Watch this. Chaos and our third back-to-back caution. Yellow is out. What just happened? Slowing it down just to get a better look. Schaefer got loose, but it starts with Thurston and Matthew White ahead. Ben goes all the way down the ladder, and as Thurston slides up the track, Matthew White goes low, hits another driver. Thurston goes down and in. Looks like spinning all around in chaos after Thurston and Matthew White go around. Yellow flag is out. Take a look at this. We'll take a better look from the perspective of James Thurston to see how it began. Just a nudge on Zach Carr, couldn't get out of it. Cameron Chandler was there. Too little room, too many drivers all at once. Pacing again. Cameron Chandler among those who will go down and in. 84 right with him as well. Jamie Lockwood stays down. A few in the far between that drop in. There's the number 30, Rowan Koch, Michael Deitch, and Tyler Seaver at the back end of the field. They're one of the few drivers, or two of the few drivers, that are one lap down. $20 to go. We'll restart with 18. Cole Wilson, third, up one on the day. Jeremy Miller, same deal. He qualified fifth, is up to fourth. Qualified fourth up to third is Wilson here. Most of your top 10 is moved up and up today. Only Richard Sherry and Henry Kaloff have dropped back. Kaloff dropping 2 spots back so far. Richard Sherry down 4. from 3rd to 7th. $19 to go. Everyone's double filed up. 4th restart. Third yellow flag. The last 10 laps. With Braden Hunsicker now on the outside, he's got a better chance to go toe-to-toe with the 99 of Jordan Kuntz. Zach Carr dropping back another spot, as it looks like the 56 of Jack Drucker is only just able to get that top 5 position. Interestingly enough, for Drucker here, qualified 11th, up 6 on the day. One of the very few times we've seen him up in the top 5 in these short runs. As high as 2nd, floated around there for a while, but it was that long green flag run where it really looked like he had a shot to make it up there against Miller and Carr. Of course, caution came out, and that changed everything. Here we go again, not only for another restart, but for a second chance at cranking it up. It's going to be 18 laps to go as we get live and loud from Michigan. Kuntz in control, 18 laps to do it. Nope. Yellow flag, will it fly? Yeah, definitely. Caution's out again. It is your 4th consecutive in 15 laps. Big wreck. Take a look. And as the yellow flies around for the 5th time today, where did it begin? Well, it looks like it started at the very head of the pack with guys like Drucker. Take a better look at how it all began before we dissect the wreck. Drucker was exiting 2. And moved up a little bit thanks to some involuntary contact from Cole Wilson. Went up to Miller. Miller collects Cherry. Schaefer slides out of line. I think he does it on his own, but gets tagged at the end from Matthew Weeks. Meanwhile, Drucker hits Zach Carr, goes up the track, and Vinny Tigner gets collected with contact from Jamie McKinney. Ethan Burrell slides around. That's how the yellow flag flies. Chase Schaefer had one of the wildest rides of it all. I want to watch on board with him and see exactly how he dealt with it. Great move out. That was wreck avoidance. And he's able to get back on his way. Chase Schaefer slows down, gets back in line. Great move from the number 99. Again, from the TV view. And you'll see that Schaefer made the right call instantaneously. Really, with no time to react, he broke out, and that's the difference between being in the fight or being on the wrecker. 16 laps to go. Schaefer sacrifices, goes to 6th, but all is well as he'll continue fighting with Braden Hunsicker, your race leader. double file. Next time around, we'll restart with 14 remaining. Just outside the top 10 is now Jeremy Miller. 12th place sees Kurt Gibson. Kurt has not much been in the conversation throughout the entire night, but it appears now he got himself a very real shot. The highest spot he's running all day long. He's got a chance to use it well. On the inside of row number 6. Powerful position alongside some of the best in the field. He's got Jamie Lockwood, Jamie McKinney. Right beside him is Cameron Chandler. Great chance for him to do something big. 5th restart. Coming at it this time by with 14 laps to go. Cole Wilson now has Kenneth Gurrell behind him. Kenneth in the high spot he's running all day. Another driver who was able to escape that wreck big time. And without a doubt here, Kenneth with a great opportunity. What can he do with it? Up 12 from where he started. Wreck avoidance becoming a big deal in these last few laps. Is it going to stay that way? Green flags out. Time for your 5th restart and your 4th in your last 15 laps. With 15 to go, it's game on again with Hunziker leading. No troubles out of the back straightaway this time. Everyone gets away, and it is all out to win it. Jordan Kuntz not able to keep the lead this time. Instead, it is Braden Hunziker yellows out. Caution is out again. Now, why did this happen? We're about to find out. Heading to the back of the pack, it appears Kurt Gibson has troubles, and for your 5th caution in 20 laps, time is catching up to these drivers here, and we're losing a lot of good laps on incidents. After running under green for more than 55 laps, it appears now the last moments of this race are going to be an outright sprint. Yeah, Gibson collected big as the 83 goes around with some back-end content and front-end contact alike. Take a look. Wiggled 4 wide, but clearly just not as fast to keep up at the start. And as he drops further behind, ends up going into 3 pretty poorly. And just looks he got loose. 77 to Tyler Sevier, finishing him off. And the caution will fly. Yellows out again. Gibson down low. Braden Hunziker holds down the fort with 12 laps remaining. Restarting now with 11 to go. Admin's making the call. We will be running as long as possible under green. So, 11 laps, 22 miles. That's what's expected of the field now. Hopefully they can hang on. Henry Kaloff is in third, looking for his first win in several seasons, and amid all the chaos has quietly moved ahead of all but Kuntz and Hunziker. Zach Carr, with another poor start, falls back to 15th, and on what has been one of the most impressive days for a first-time driver, he has a worrying feeling it might be all for naught. Green flag's out. It's going to be Hunziker and Kuntz again going at it. Both drivers with eyes on their second wins of the season. It's all them again as the double file battle begins. The 00 to 99, toe-to-toe in a 1-2. Oh, caution. Caution again. Yellow flag flies. It is Zach Carr. Oh, and how horrible it is that the night he had, a miracle that it looked to be, a chance to win with a long green flag run, has not gone his way. Matthew Weeks and Ethan Burrell going to disconnect on this note. What happened? Burrell contact, Jamie McKinney, and Matthew White collected. Cameron Chandler as well. And the yellow flag is out. 6 cautions. Back to back. To back to back. To back for 5 of them in this race. And the yellow is out again. Zach Carr, unfortunately, feels some of the worst of it. Here's a yellow. Contact. And it looked to first straighten him out, then knocked around the back again. And Carr does not get out of it so easily. 25 laps ago, he was your leader, and by a comfortable margin. Since then, it has been unfortunately nothing but downhill for the 27. All the while, the only driver who beat him on strategy still leads. Kuntz with 10 to go, coming to 9 laps remaining. We'll see now if the field gets that advance, as in another extra lap of green flag racing. If not, we'll go green with 8 to go. Chase Schaefer up to a race high 4th. Again, he is your championship leader, but he has not yet won a race this season. Interesting to note. I find it highly unlikely that he's going to finish this season out winless, but the fact that he's gone the first half, hasn't yet been able to do it, is a pretty big shock. Well, nevertheless, we're about to find out now what's next in store for the 13 and the rest of the field, as it will be 7 laps to go. We head back at it. Chase Schaefer in 4th. Jamie McKinney in 7th. Both drivers qualifying 20th or lower. In fact, 23rd being the highest of those two, being Chase Schaefer. Jordan Kuntz leads the way alongside Braden Hunsicker. Across these previous 5 restarts, they have led all 5 of which. However, this is the first time since the very first of these consecutive cautions that this man, the number 99, leads the way. Here we go. Seven laps to do it. All eyes on Jordan Kuntz and Braden Hunsicker as they begin their final fight. Any caution after the 5 to go marker. That will bring us to overtime. Green flags out. Jordan Kuntz in full control. And this time around, he gets several car lengths on the jump. Without a shadow of a doubt, Jordan Kuntz jumps through the field and gets that launch. Only Braden Hunsicker even able to come close, and now he's got to not only come close, but outdo him. Cole Wilson watching and waiting. Wilson now up on the high side with a little bit of help. Braden Hunsicker gets that outer groove going and takes the lead again. Jordan Kuntz watching behind him, and the pressure mounts. Chase Schaefer to the inside on Cole Wilson. This is the battle now for third, and it could become quickly the battle for second. 6 laps to go, 5 up next. Any incidents will take us to the 2 lap to go mark. A yellow flag will mean overtime and perhaps a final green-white checkered. It's largely calm now. Everyone's settling in. 5 to go. Braden Hunsicker out and ahead. This could be one of the staple races on the season. Hunsicker comes into the day, 3rd in the championship. Wilson 2nd. Chase Schaefer, of course, the leader. So whoever gets out of this dogfight first is going to build that momentum for the second half. And to gain so much now is critical. Kuntz, again, not able to get it done on Hunsicker. He's going to drive into 3 and 4. Practically uncontested. And lead across the line again. 4 laps remaining. Now can Jeremy Miller try to get it by Jordan Kuntz? I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Down to the inside, slices low, can't quite get there. He'll give up all his speed in one shot. Miller tries. Miller fails. And so now it's going to be a battle for third again, as it's Kuntz and Hunsicker. 2nd and 1st, the only 2 to break away. Coming now to 3 laps to go. Chase Schaefer on the outside now. Jamie McKinney and company. In what has been one of his weaker races this season, still trying to salvage a top 5 and keep the points lead. It looks like now with Hunsicker staying ahead of Kuntz, it's only going to come down to these 2. Last time by, the gap between them was less than a car length at the line, and it could be the same way again. Now Kuntz boxed in, blocked up high. He'll take it down low. Jordan Kuntz sweeping to the inside, as here comes Jeremy Miller. It could be a 3-horse race with 2 laps to go. 2 laps. That's all it's going to come down to. Miller, now the final man of the fight. The front man in Hunsicker is feeling the heat. Braden drives well into turn 1, gets a nice entry, but Jordan Kuntz will prioritize the exit. So will Miller. Both drivers now cutting back with all the draft that they have in the slipstream firmly as Kuntz. He'll go down low. Hunsicker tries to go low. Kuntz goes lower. Can't quite get there though. The 99 will open up the inside line. And with 1 lap to go, it's 1, 2, 3. Hunsicker, Kuntz, Miller. Now Chase Schaefer watches behind, but the 99 is alone on the bottom. White flags out. 1 lap to go. And here in Michigan, it comes down to one of now 4. Chase Schaefer to the inside, looking to take third on Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz gets it back. Miller for his first career win. That's the goal now. The Office Depot 14. He'll get blocked for second though. Kuntz gets to the inside for 1. Can he dive for a second? To the inside. Jordan Kuntz looks as low as he can on Hunsicker, and he slides up. So does Hunsicker. So does Miller. Miller in the wall. So is Hunsicker, but it won't matter for the 00. He will still get away and win. Braden Hunsicker, win number 2 on the season, and perhaps the biggest of his SNT career. What a drive against all the championship frontrunners. Statement win for Braden Hunsicker. Gap is 1,500s at the line between your top 2. Hunsicker, even while in the wall in those last moments, breaks away. Cameron Chandler coming to congratulate the winning man as he is set now to burn it down and celebrate. Hunsicker takes the crown at Michigan. Braden Hunsicker, your winner from Michigan, and we'll be right back after this with post-race coverage and interviews from your top 3. SNT on FTN continues after a message from our friends at iRacing. Stay with us. Race results are right up next.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Braden Hunsicker gets the job done, wins outright against Jeremy Miller for his second of the season. He'll keep both Chase Schaefer and Jordan Kuntz at bay. They finish third and fourth. Jamie McKinney goes fifth with Vinny Tigner sixth, Richard Cherry seventh, and Cole Wilson eighth on the day. Henry Kaloff P9, and to wrap up the top 10, it's the driver of the number 96, James Thurston. Next up on the menu, not too far back, is going to be Jack Drucker with Kenneth Gurrell 12th, Matthew Rivera 13th, Brandon Combs 14th, and Cameron Chandler P15. Asher Bunkley in the 92 goes 16th with Brandon Monroe 17th, 18th, Matthew White, and Michael Deitch top 20. Last drivers on the lead lap, Kirk Gibson, Roger Sever, and it'll be Zach Carr, Ethan Burrell, Matthew Weeks, Tyler Sever, Rohan Koch, CJ Erdman, Greg Holes, and Jacob Clorino for the top 30. Then to end it off, Chris Tripp, 31st and last on the night. For Braden Hunsicker, a win like this is big. Championship hopes are high, and even though he came into this race 41 points out of the top spot, it goes to show that gap could be cut at a moment's notice. He fought as hard as he could to win, and he stuck the landing at race's end. After 100 laps and a dogfight to the finish, Braden Hunsicker, you're back in victory lane in what has to be your biggest win so far in your career in SNT.
Are you done? It sounded like you cut off.
Braden Hunsicker, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
All right, well, how about that win?
Last year, I came pretty close, finished P2, and I was just looking for redemption. Obviously, qualified on pole. Was really quick throughout practice and in the warm-up and qualifying, so it looked promising from the start. Led a lot of laps, was able to manage the tires pretty well, and then lost the track position or the lead after the first pit cycle, and then the cautions started coming out, and I don't know what that was about, but we were able to get to the front and get the lead back, and then in those closing laps was just able to hold off Kuntz and Miller. I mean, great battle from them. That was a lot of fun. Definitely one of the most fun races I've ever had in this league. Obviously, it's fun winning, but the battles were great, and I just had a really fun time. So I'm just proud of this Hunsicker Motorsports 00, and I just want to shout out to all my teammates, Rojan and Cameron, Matthew, all of them, and just looking forward to the next one.
Now, it was between you and Jordan Kuntz at the very end, so I'll tell you this much. What was it like head-to-head in those last laps? I mean, the pressure mounted because then you had 4 or 5 drivers in the last 2 laps. But how was it like leading with all that pressure behind you?
Yeah, it was pretty tough because this track is just really draft reliant. I wasn't really able to pull away because draft would just reel them back into my back bumper. So it was really tough trying to hold them off, but I'm just glad we were able to do it and bring home the win.
And of course, tonight we saw long runs, short runs, basically everything in between. How confident were you with the car if we were to have seen any longer?
It felt great on the long run. It was a bit loose, but it was drivable and it was definitely really quick. So I'm proud of what we bring to this track. And just really happy with the car.
Huge win for championship momentum. Braden Hunsicker taking home P1 on the day here from Michigan before we head toward our next race on the schedule. And that's going to be Old Atlanta. Any final shout outs or comments you'd like to send?
Cole J. Wilson, you suck, man.
Well, with that, Braden Hunsicker, winner on the day. The 00 gets the job done, and he'll win here from Michigan. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
That was the loudest Braden was the entire interview. I'm sure he meant that one, but I'm not sure why. The 22 faded back way after. We might have to take a replay post-race. Anyway, Jeremy Miller, second on the day. Miller has been a part-time guy for most of the year, but in both races we've seen him, or at least I've seen him this season, he showed out. And the result shows tonight, Jeremy second, just a 10th and a half off, closing it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a interesting race. I don't think the car should be driving like that, but it doesn't mean it can't be fun. Definitely had a little bit of fun there. So, really unfortunate somebody stopped on track right yellow in the middle of those stops for me in the 27. I think we were gonna be able to work together and have a chance to yard them, considering we pit from the mid pack on the previous run and we're 1-2 at that point, and that was a little bit of an overcut on our numbers. So we were gonna be in a pretty good spot, but then got wrecked on one of those restarts and got some stickers and just was able to rip back through the field. Just didn't quite have enough for Braden there. He ran a really good last lap and put the dirty air on me in the right spot.
Now, of course, today you qualified well. That started you off from the beginning in the battle with the best of them. Now, this is your first race. We've seen you here in SNT at Michigan. Was there anything you picked up over the race to help you keep speed?
I mean, no, I mean, just across the surface race here a bunch. I mean, first time here with this Xfinity Arrows, it was a little bit different, but a lot of the same little tricks to get around here quick with corner entry. And yeah, first time back in S&T's last few weeks, but I ran here a few seasons ago, a little bit here and there, so not completely foreign here. I have a one here in Dega, so not that this is the super speedway, but it almost raced a little bit like one tonight. We were definitely all packed up and playing with the air a lot, so nothing too unfamiliar.
Well, all things considered, it looked like you were in the fight till the very end. Do you think there's anything you could have done for Braden that last few lap stretch?
If I didn't throw a slider attempt on Jordan a few laps before, my tires would have been just a little bit better, and I wouldn't have lost that momentum. So I'd had more time to set something up. But it was tough with them racing each other to set up that run. Like I had definitely had a bit of an advantage with the tires, but it was hard to catch either one. It was hard to catch Braden in the right spot, really, with Kuntz there, and just kind of taking up a little bit of space that I wasn't able to use to build up that momentum.
Well, all things considered, a great run to come back and start the second half of the season, and perhaps we see you back next week at Old Atlanta, or 2 weeks' time for our next race.
Yeah, we'll see. Probably playing it by year, but definitely thank you for putting on the broadcast, and thanks to Vinny and Carter for putting on this show for all of us.
Jeremy Miller, second on the day. If you got any additional shout outs you'd like to send to fans back home, let us know.
Yeah, just gotta thank the teammates out here, 13 and 27. Even though not some people not too happy with that 27, but they were a racing deal, so we had a pretty good firm control of that race working together, and it's always fun to work with those guys.
Jeremy Miller, runner up on the night in the 14 car here at Michigan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Final driver we're going to speak to is the number 41 of Chase Schaefer. Schaefer, your championship leader, in the fight with some of his closest title contenders, and tonight he had to deal with them firsthand, and it was tense. Chase, you started in the back of the field, and yet things worked out a little bit better, especially toward the end, getting back to the podium after a hard-fought day.
Yeah, that race was definitely something. I'm really happy with how that ended. Start of the race, I was just getting a feel for it. I got home late for the race, and so I was what's it? Uh I just wasn't prepared for you. Or prepared for the race. Sorry, I'm distracted. I wasn't prepared for the race at all. I did qualifying, I messed up my lap, and so I went into it. Car felt completely different from what I remember. Um so I had to learn that entire first part of the race. The aero on this car has completely changed since the update. And so we started off kind of figuring it out. And then we had that incident around lap 22, or it was just iRacing, or not really iRacing. It just kind of got tight and got into the car, no caution, but I had to claw back. I had a whole back stretch on Thurston on lap 23. By the time pit cycles had happened, I was even with him. So we definitely figured it out. I gained a lot more time than I thought I was going to during that little run where I kind of had a lot of clean air and was just logging laps, trying to figure out how to conserve conserve the right front or use the right front how it should, and use the conserve the right rear. And at the end of the race, everything just kind of played into our favor. Those last couple of laps, I felt like I was on rails. I really wish I didn't overdrive turn one and on that last lap, because I figured out like the lap before or 2 laps before how if you could just stay left to everyone else and just run that yellow line, it feels like it's going to get tight, but then it just hooks. So kind of annoyed at that, but third place after how that race was looking is a lot better than what I could have ever expected.
Now, especially during the long run, we saw you in the mid-pack for the most part. We had ourselves 60-plus laps to start it off, mostly green. Turns out it looks like the short runs actually benefited you. Were you expecting that on the way? Well, you didn't have much practice, but did you feel confident enough in the long run after your first stretch, or were you happy enough to see those short runs come consistently?
I think the reason why I gained so much time is because I was way farther back, but that time having the clean air kind of let me focus on what the car needed. Because in the dirty air, you have so many wakes that you're fighting with. You really cannot tell what the car needs in that moment because solely focused on not getting tight one moment, and then the next moment you're working on not having the right rear just completely spin on you. So that long run definitely benefited me for figuring out what the car needed, and then after that, I could run in the dirty air, thinking, okay, I need to conserve the right rear in this moment, or I should drive off the right front. You know,
Well, all things considered, it wasn't the best start to your night, but you'll be able to hold the championship lead and take it back to Atlanta. We went there earlier this season in the mini super speedway form. Now we're going back to the old intermediate style racing. How do you feel about that as now the home stretch for the title is here?
I feel pretty good. I just got my first win of the season, or I guess first win in the series. Um, this past Monday in ASCA at Atlanta, and there's some big names there, so I'm pretty confident heading into that track.
Chase Schaefer, third on the day, leading the title coming out of Michigan. Any final comments before we head out of your home track?
Follow Chase Schaefer on socials. That's all I got.
Chase Schaefer, P3, started 23rd and goes the distance to gain 20 on the night. Thank you for stopping by.
Yep, thank you.
Well, you've heard it now from your top three drivers. Chase Schaefer taking third place, second on the day. That's Jeremy Miller, and the leading man of all, Braden Hunsicker, to win his second of the season. And while Schaefer will hold the title lead, definitely putting himself in firm consideration, Hunsicker wins from Michigan. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's coverage of the Refined Engineering 200. I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed coverage, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to FTN Broadcasting. We're currently still live right now, in fact, with our Gen 4 series, and that one's going to be an exciting one. Don't at all forget Garrett Hess on the call, and he's looking forward to calling the end of the NSR Gen 4 series in just a few moments' time. Until that point, we'll go live next Tuesday, and then next Saturday with continued coverage of Saturday Night Thunder as they head to Old Atlanta. Thank you for tuning in live on FTN Broadcasting. Congratulations to Braden Hunsicker for victory, his second of the season. We hope you have a fantastic night.
10 weeks. One champion. It all comes down to this. Brace yourself. 350 horses on a rampage. The Outlaw Dirt Series Sportsman Modifieds are coming to Shaggy TV. Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, the Sportsman Modifieds will roar to life across 10 of iRacing's amazing dirt tracks, starting at Lanier and ending at Oswego. You just gotta be there. Cherry Cinematography, specializing in iRacing photography, has deals to suit all your needs. With deals like 5 for 10, 10 for 20, 15 for 30, and 20 for 60, you cannot go wrong. You can reach out to Carson Cherry 226 on Discord. That's CARSON Cherry 226.
You feel the ground shake. Your bones begin to rattle. You hold on for dear life. 280 foot-pounds of torque is coming your way. It's the TFG Sport Compact Series, dropping 168 horsepower with 2 front wheels a-squealing. Every night's a beatdown.
The TFG Sport Compact Series is coming back to Right Rear Racing on Friday, December 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Watch it live on YouTube with Right Rear Racing TV as the Jettis clash at historic Nashville Fairgrounds. 2 Fat Guys Sim Racing promotions, where the challenge remains me.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
You have something in your mind, you are able to create it, build it, and then someone from the other side of the world came and tell you that they want to spread this product to 50 countries in the world, so it's a huge personal accomplishment.
Welcome to the Underdog Racing Podcast, where we talk to NASCAR drivers from all over the great country of America. Each week, we chat about the latest races, share stories from the track, and get to know the drivers behind the wheel. We break down the action, hear from drivers about their experiences, and dive into what drives them to keep racing. Whether you're a longtime NASCAR fan or just curious about the sport, this is the place for you. So tune in to the Underdog Racing Podcast, your inside look at the world of NASCAR. Catch us every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern.